Promote your brand here at Viral Hip Hop News. Hit me, Sam Ant, at dlsmediainc1@gmail.com. dlsmediainc1@gmail.com. Let's go. What up, y'all? It's your man Sam Ant here at Viral Hip Hop News, and man, this story is crazy. So let me give you a little bit of the backstory, right? So I get up in the morning, and I typically have a little bit of a morning routine before I get on my phone or get on the computer and check my YouTube. So I go and take care of my business. I go and check my YouTube, and I see this comment under a video that we did with this brother right here, Robert Crayton Jr., right? And the video or the comment says that Robert Crayton Jr. killed his wife, his children, before killing himself. Mental illness is real. And I'm like, what in the F is this? Like, I remember this brother, he was most famously known as playing in Wu-Tang, the American Saga. He had a couple other movie roles. He wasn't an A-list celebrity, he wasn't an A-list star, but he had a fairly successful career in acting. He was feeding his family, he was doing his thing, right? You never know what anybody's going through. So I see this article, I start doing some research, and I'm trying to basically take him out of this equation. Like, okay, Robert Crayton Jr., Robert Crayton, it's not him, right? But the unfortunate reality is that it was him. And he took the life of his wife, his son, and 2 other children on Saturday morning. I'll read the horrific details right now. It says, a man with a history of mental illness opened fire inside his North Carolina home, killing his wife and 3 children before killing himself, police said on Monday. Robert Crayton Jr., 45, fatally shot Athalia A. Crayton, Kasin Crayton, and 2 other children who were 16 and 10 on Saturday morning. In my 27, pushing 28 years in the police department, we've never had anything like this happen before, High Point Police Chief Travis Stroud said. Clearly an impact case for us as a police department. 2 people, 25 and 22, were in the house. They fled shortly after 7 a.m. and started banging on neighbors' doors, pleading for help, police said. One of those adults was a direct relation, and the other was an acquaintance, the police lieutenant said. Now, the motive of the shooting was unclear on Monday afternoon. That's going to be a piece of the investigation. I've expressed this to the family. We may never know why. What goes through hearts and minds of a person who would do something like this, who would do this, sometimes dies with them. Welsh said, we don't have any indication right now as to why. Now, they said the crime scene was gruesome, as you guys can imagine. I'm not going to get into detail with that, but this just threw me through a loop because, as you can see, we're talking to this brother right here, and I'm going to play a little bit of the clip of what we were discussing. It seems like he's mentally intact. It seems like he's tight. He definitely has an understanding and a conscience of what's going on around him, in particular in the world, not just the industry. We talk about music and the dangers of music and how we're perceived out here as black men. It was a very great and powerful conversation, which is why this kind of leaves me messed up this morning, man. Please, you never know what anybody's going through. Me and God were having a conversation yesterday on the podcast, and we were even talking about relationships. And you could be with somebody for 10 to 12 years, and you guys can be going through your routine and doing your daily thing, and everything could be cool, but you really don't know what's going on in that person's head. You really don't know that person. We go through so many things, and there's so many things unaddressed and unidentified. And I'm just going to say right now, condolences to this family, condolences to his wife, condolences to them babies who did not deserve this. May God just hold just love over everybody else in that family, man, that is going through things that I'm sure they have no concept of even understanding why right now. And may God have blessings on this brother's family, this brother's mother, father, whoever may be alive to still have to endure such pain. And hopefully we can have an understanding of why and the type of pain this man was dealing with for him to go ahead and turn the gun on not only his kids but himself. I don't understand how people can turn a gun on themselves, let alone put it on their family. You know what I'm saying? So just a very troubling time. Prayers go out to everybody who happens to be involved. Leave a comment in the comment section if you have anything to share, if you have any positive words of wisdom or a testimony or anything you want to share. Please do so in the comment section right now. I am going to play a little bit of the clip of Robert Crayton Jr.'s conversation with us in regards to black men wearing a dress, the misconception of black men in Hollywood, music, etc. Please enjoy the content, and let's just keep everybody who's involved right now in your prayer. Sandman, CEO of Viral Hip Hop News. I love y'all. Love each and every one of y'all. Love yourselves. Let's go.
And then also white. So I didn't know what that even meant. Because each role said Caucasian, then the next one said white. And then if it was an opportunity for a black man, that's when there was a role that seemed to be homosexual or something that is displayed as weakness to me. Like sometimes. Because it seems like sometimes the narrative is still painted that strong black, like male anyway, is not normally the depiction. Usually if we're strong, we might be a criminal, we might be something like that. That narrative, just like the same narrative we deal with in real life, exists in Hollywood. So sometimes it's very hard. It's disappointing to see some of the things that goes on, like in what it is. It has been a difficult thing. At the same time, it's been an easy thing, because whether we think about it or not, we are one of the most copied and beloved race on the planet, even though we're not told that. You know what I mean?
That's a fact. So when you look at like a Tyler Perry, right? Because obviously I feel like you're probably on one accord, and please correct me if I'm wrong, as we are, but don't have a problem. I don't want to say we don't have a problem. We respect some of the leading black male roles that put on dresses, your Jamie Foxxes, your Martins, your Tyler Perrys, but we don't agree with that. Like, that's not something as males we can sit back and go, acting or not, that's not something we'll do. But you look at a Tyler Perry who's created a whole empire out in Atlanta from putting on a dress, employing blacks and things like that, giving more opportunities. So what's your perspective on that? How do you feel, but not necessarily Tyler Perry in particular, but the whole black male in a dress and opportunities and things like that?
See, I think that concept of the dress is something that I would not do personally. I think it's about emasculating the male personally. That's what I think it is. You know what I mean? I think there's a reason why they want this particular character in a dress. That's what I feel like. But what I can say about that is this. I think it's a beautiful thing that he employs blacks and gives these opportunities. I just think that some opportunities is best to be waited for. Sometimes some things are just not right for me. Some things that other people would accept, I will not accept. I think that we need to show black men with strength, because it takes a lot to be a black man in this nation. And a lot of times we're beaten down at a job, we're beaten down at home, we're beaten down in Hollywood in our description, we're beaten down in the media. I think that, and then the dress doesn't seem like an answer or alternative to that to me. It seems like if you look at a lot of times whenever I see scripts, and I have no problem with people who are homosexuality or alternative or whatever like that. It's just not particularly my thing. So it doesn't really fall into my mind state much. But a lot of times when I notice there is an opportunity in a role in a film, sometimes it's for a black flamboyant man. That's when that role comes about, because there's a role like a rule now that has to be reflected on TV, that you got to have a certain amount of each type of role, different diversities or whatever like that. So, but when that role comes about, I notice that role is black. And I think even that's for a reason. I think that's just like to paint some type of narrative or to get people, because a lot of things is people don't understand how much you are influenced by the TV. You know what I mean? Like, I got people in my family, they call it television. You know what I mean? Because it's telling you, like a lot of the media is just paid for. Like, some of the narratives are not the best, and it's depicted to be a certain way, to have people have a certain mind state. That's why when we are killed, there's not so much of an outcry other than from us. You know what I mean? Because like the whole world is desensitized to who we are as people because of how we are depicted. The easiest way to destroy your group is first throw out some propaganda on that group and then destroy it.
Yep. Definitely. Same thing that happened with the Jews, same thing that happened with us. That's what we always talk about here on music, as well as some of the messages that go on in music. Let's talk a little bit of hip hop, if you may. What do you think about the message right now in mainstream hip hop and its correlation to, what's going on in the streets, the murder, pregnancy, and all that? What's your thoughts on that?
See, what I think of it right now, I think is that really there is no message. I think that's half of what's wrong with the earth right now. Because if you think about it, music is one of the most powerful things that we have on the planet, whether you think about it or not, because there's certain sounds, vibrations that's carried through music. It affects your brainwave activity. It affects your mood. It affects your heart rate. It affects everything. So with there not being a message, or well, actually, I would say there is a message. The message that's being given right now is not positive. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna front when I listen to music. Music is not positive, bro. I like the way it sounds. I like the beat of it or whatever, but there's nothing positive in it. It's kind of like what I listen to at the crib and how people are at my crib. You know what I mean? Or where I'm from in New York. You know what I mean? Because I'm a New Yorker. I listen to certain type of music. I listen to Rick Ross, and Rick Ross is one hell of a rapper. But what is his message? You know what I mean? So we don't. All the flyest rappers, like we got Kendrick Lamar, who gives a message about like black culture, black things, like. Yeah, black culture and different things like that. So basically a lot of other things are just not being able to go the way I think it needs to go. Like we got Kendrick Lamar, got J. Cole, we got who else we got? We got Common, what he used to be. You know what I mean? Even he's to gain more success, it seemed like he made a change in his music. He went from it just being common sense to deliver the message to the next thing talking about go. She was a dancer, had her hemmed up. You know what I mean? It just became something different. You know what I mean? And then that made him more success. So I think that without that message, I think like Grandma 30 right now, you know what I mean? Ain't no big mamas no more. So there's no message for this girl. The girls are following Nicki Minaj. They following Megan Thee Stallion, and all they talking about is how they join is give me some money for it. So like I think that music is very corruptive in nature. You know what I mean? At least the way it's being delivered now. There is some good music as well, but most people find that corny, depending on what your lifestyle is.
Now, a lot of people will say that's only in our genre. Only in hip hop will you see that. Now, do you think there's a message in that too? A strong message being sent in that as well?
What, in hip hop?
Yeah, that it's only hip hop that you see the negativity highlighted. So, you know what I mean? So like it's the lavish thing to do, the hypersexualization of the females, the killing and the drug use with the males and females. This is what gets promoted. This is what gets highlighted. This is what gets paid when it comes to the art. But you don't see that in other genres.
Yeah, it does exist in other genres. Not as far as the murdering and the depiction and stuff like that. But as far as hypersexualization, that's in every genre. If you look at some cowboy movie, cowboy music or whatever like that, there is some girl maybe has implants or whatever the heck she got going on or whatever she got going on. Some lazy dukes because they're not quite Daisy Dukes because she don't have no behind. And she's smiling, doing whatever she doing, you know, whatever like that. That's in every genre. But our genre seems like to be the most corrupt, and that's also because it's not controlled by us. You know what I mean? It's not controlled by us. So people who want these narratives painted and want these depictions, like want the same status quo that's been going on forever. Like you want to be seen a certain way. They want you to be a thug. Because after you become being a thug, or if you're successful being a thug, where you going to get taken to? Jail. In jail, what are you taken down to become? A slave.
Yeah.
Because that's what they want you to be. Jail. Getting 10 cents a day. I don't care what you call it. I don't care that they decided to pay you. That's slavery work. Period. They're not giving you no good thing to do. There's people in jail who do jobs in jail that are facilitated in jail, where if they came out and did that same job, they could be making close to 80,000, 100,000 a year. But in jail under that particular guise, because prisons is big business, they don't make any money whatsoever. So that's slavery to me. So I think that each genre has bad or negative depictions, because you got heavy metal, you got whatever. They sometimes have satanic themes or whatever it is they got going on. But I think our genre seem like the most corrupted and doesn't speak to socially what's going on. You know what I mean? Because if you think about it, we got us being murdered, killed, shot like dogs in the street. Then the music that come on behind it is I'm gonna shoot you like a dog in the street right behind it. Like, yo, son, you want to put a clip out, lay it out. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy, dog. I think that we don't use the power that we have in our platforms.